Nobody told you this. But life is not fair in the way you expected it to be. Nobody set you down and prepared your heart for the truth that sometimes you will do everything right and still end up in pain. You will give your best effort and still feel unseen. You will show up with love, patience, and honesty and still be misunderstood like you were the problem all along. Nobody told you that. Nobody said, you will be kind, and people will call it weakness. You will be loyal, and someone will treat you like an option. You will stay, and still be replaced without hesitation. You will try so hard, and still feel like you were never enough. So, when life starts unfolding like that, something inside you begins to shake. You start replaying conversations in your mind. You start analyzing your actions. You start blaming your personality, your choices, your existence. And slowly, the question begins to grow louder in your silence. What is wrong with me? But pause right there, because this is the moment where many people lose themselves. Listen carefully. Nothing is wrong with you. You are not the mistake in the story. You are not the failure in the process. You are not the reason things didn't work out the way you hoped. You are simply discovering a truth nobody prepared you for. Life is not built on effort alone. If it were, every hard-working person would be happy. Every loving person would be loved back the same way. Every honest heart would be protected. Life is timing. Life is emotional maturity. Life is people who are temporary in your forever expectations. Life is unseen battles no one claps for. Life is chapters you don't understand while you are still inside them. And because nobody explained this, you thought your effort was supposed to guarantee peace. But sometimes, effort only guarantees experience, and that experience can hurt. Some people will look at your entire journey and only point at your mistakes. They will ignore the nights you stayed strong. They will ignore the progress you made silently. They will ignore the version of you that fought so hard just to stay standing. Some people will forget your love, but never forget a moment you disappointed them. And some people will leave your life, not because you were not enough, but because their role in your story was never permanent. But nobody told you that either. Nobody told you that some goodbyes are not punishments. They are protection. Some endings are not rejection. They are redirection. Nobody told you that healing is not loud. Healing does not announce itself. It does not come with applause. It does not always look beautiful. Sometimes healing looks like crying in silence. Sometimes it looks like smiling when you are actually exhausted. Sometimes it looks like waking up every day when your mind is tired of everything. And still, you continue. That is strength too. Nobody told you that survival is not always dramatic. Sometimes survival is simply not giving up on yourself today. You were told to be strong, but nobody explained that strength is not always loud, confident, and visible. Sometimes strength is breaking quietly and still choosing not to quit. Nobody told you that you will outgrow people you once begged to stay, people you once prayed for, people you once thought you could not live without. And one day, you wake up different. Your mind is clearer. Your standards are higher. Your heart is less available for confusion. And suddenly, not everyone fits into your new version anymore. That does not make you arrogant. That does not make you cold. That makes you evolving. Nobody told you that growth can feel like loneliness before it feels like freedom. Nobody told you that peace is not automatic. Peace is something you build, something you protect, something you fight for internally every single day. Because the world will constantly try to disturb it. People will test your boundaries. Situations will test your patience. Memories will test your emotions. And doubts will test your identity. And if you are not careful, you will start living your life for approval instead of alignment. You will start shrinking yourself to avoid conflict. You will start over-explaining your boundaries. You will start tolerating what you should have walked away from. Until one day, you don't recognize yourself anymore. But here is the truth you need right now. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not failing at life. You are in a transition that feels like confusion, but is actually construction. Life is not destroying you. It is rearranging you. It is removing what cannot survive in your next level. It is pulling you away from what was familiar but not healthy. It is breaking illusions you thought were permanent. And yes, it hurts. But not every pain is punishment. Some pain is preparation. So breathe. You don't have to figure everything out today. You don't have to heal in a straight line. You don't have to become the strongest version of yourself overnight. You are allowed to be in process. You are allowed to be in becoming. You are allowed to not have all the answers yet. Because one day, you will look back at this version of your life and realize something powerful. The moments you thought were breaking you were actually building you. The silence that felt empty was actually space for growth. The endings that felt cruel were actually protection in disguise. And maybe nobody told you this about life. But you are going to be okay, not because life becomes perfect, but because you become grounded, because you become wiser, because you stop abandoning yourself just to be accepted by others. So hold on gently but firmly. Your story is not finished. It is not a mistake. It is not lost. And so, if you're still here listening, let this be the moment you stop fighting yourself. Because life may not have told you the truth in time, but it is telling you now. You were never behind. You were never too much. You were never the problem. You were simply learning lessons you were never prepared for. Growing through experiences you never asked for. And becoming stronger in ways you did not recognize yet. And yes, it hurt. It still hurts sometimes. But pain was never proof that you are failing. It was proof that you are feeling, evolving, and becoming aware. So don't let your past convince you that you are stuck. Don't let your mistakes convince you that you are broken. And don't let people who misunderstood you define who you are becoming. Because the truth, you are not the version of you that got rejected. You are not the moment you broke down. You are not the season you felt lost. You are everything you survived beyond that. And if nobody told you this clearly before, let this be the voice that finally reaches you. You are going to heal. You are going to rise again. You are going to understand why things had to end the way they did. And you are going to become someone who no longer abandons themselves for love, approval, or acceptance. So take a deep breath, not because everything is fixed, but because you are still here. And being here means your story is not over. One day, you will look back at this moment and realize this was the turning point. This was where you stopped questioning your worth and started protecting your peace. So keep going, not because it's easy, but because you are becoming the kind of person life could not break. Your story is still unfolding, and your best chapter is not behind you. It is still ahead, waiting for you to arrive stronger, softer, and finally free.